Welcome to the 24th floor. I'm Richard Denson alongside Ruben Diaz. The Memphis Tigers women's basketball program has a new leader, and for the first time since being named head coach, she's joining us for an exclusive interview.
That's right. We all want to take a second to welcome Coach Hana Haden. She comes to Memphis after being Sun Belt Coach of the Year at Georgia Southern, brings a track record of winning. I told her earlier before we got on the set, she got it through the mud. Because she spent them years at that JUCO level getting it in the mud.
Yeah, Georgia Southern, you know, it's a school that's near and dear to my heart. That's where my sister went, so I know a lot about them. But like Ruben said, brings a track record of winning at every stop along the way. Coach, welcome to the 24th floor.
Thank you so much. I'm happy to be here.
Absolutely.
Let's get things rolling with people who don't know you. What do they need to know about Coach Hana Haden?
Yes.
Oh,
we're getting in deep today.
Right. Let's get right to it. You know, a lot of times people will say, you know, it's not what you do. What you do is not who you are. But
Correct.
I always take pride in, like, no, I am a basketball coach.
Yeah.
And I think because I embrace every part of that, right? I'm not just talking about calling timeouts and running practice and blowing my whistle and things like that, but being a mentor to young women, helping impact their lives, helping them be the best version of themselves like my coaches did for me. So I live for this. I'm a basketball junkie, so if there's basketball on TV, I'm watching it. Again, just, you know, those relationships with my players and, you know, even after they've left our program, I mean, that's just, it's what I live for, it's what I enjoy, it's what I'm passionate about. So, you know, I think whenever I grew up, there wasn't, I did have the privilege of growing up, like Southwest Missouri, we had
a lot of basketball.
We had, you know, high-level women's basketball, and I got to see Jackie Stiles. So
yeah.
I was exposed to that, but also on TV, you had a lot of NBA, so I always like to say, you know, Allen Iverson. I'm an Allen Iverson stan. But yeah.
The real AI.
Right, the real AI.
The original, yeah.
Exactly.
So, Denson, I know you and I have talked a lot, and you've done a ton of, if you don't know, Denson is the research king of the world. So I'm sure he's got some in-depth questions based on your research.
Well, Coach, first I got to say is like a lot of things that I hear about you is obviously your relatability. And it's probably because of how young you are. You know what I'm saying? You're probably not too much older than me, or we are probably around the same age. Do you think that kind of gives you a little bit of an advantage? Because I know it's for me when I'm on the high school trail, when I'm covering high school sports, I feel like players are a little bit more comfortable talking to me compared to other media because I'm not too far off on age from them. Do you kind of also see that advantage in coaching?
I would like to think so. I hope it's something that I can carry on, right?
You're going to get older, just so we're all clear. Everybody gets older.
Right.
Everybody does it. Carry on.
I think one thing that I kind of gauge how I'm getting, you know, how I am getting a little bit older is when I first started coaching, it was the music, right? We always play music before practice. And so when I first started coaching, not only did I like the music they played, that was what I listened to on my own time. And then, you know, a few years later, you're like, I don't necessarily listen to this, but it's not bad. And now I'm like, oh my God. So maybe, you know, that's how I'm kind of gauging it. But, you know, I think that the relatability is probably what all good coaches have, right? I think it's the ability to see things through their lens and then also get them to see things through your lens, you know, and, you know, the overall program. So.
You got some Memphis music flavor already on your playlist? Some Key Glock, some Glorilla.
If you start playing like Marvin Gaye and stuff at the practice, I think you might lose them. So you find that middle ground, Coach. Find that middle ground.
Yeah, I like Glorilla. I like Yo Gotti.
Okay.
So that's on my playlist.
Key Glock, though.
Yeah, maybe sometimes.
Hey, you don't have to co-sign for everything. It's okay. If there's one thing there's plenty of here, it's music, so you don't have to like it all.
Right.
So let's get into the basketball now. So you take a team, you take over a team that struggled, which I'm not, you know, telling anybody anything you didn't already know. How difficult is it, you've done this before, but how difficult is it to turn that team around, to start from scratch and say, okay, there is an idea and an ability to win here, but we gotta reset this thing. How do you start that process?
Yeah, I think it's, you know, it started with who do we want to return. When you take over a new program, you're looking at the current roster, and, you know, it's always a fit piece. Like, just like when those young women were getting recruited, it was about a fit. So then you sit down and you have those conversations. So I think we got some good momentum with the 4 returners, you know, when we kind of recruited them back with our vision. And I think it was encouraging for us because, you know, if they didn't have a good experience at Memphis, they would have already been out the door and we wouldn't have even been able to have the opportunity to have those conversations. So kind of starts there, you know, with your kind of your core group. And I think one lesson that I've learned kind of, being in this business is, we wanted to recruit the best players who are also the best people that we can find. I think one of the differences between Division I and junior college is at junior college, just assemble the talent, right?
Yeah.
Just get the talent in the room and the winning will bring us together. At Division I, you better recruit players that you can get to come together first or you won't win.
Gotcha.
And so I think we tried to be just really strategic, with our vision. We know what we want our program to embody. We want it to be a sisterhood. We want to create a championship culture. We wanted to recruit young women that were going to be invested in our community here at Memphis because we know that's really important. And so we just used those kind of guiding principles to formulate our team.
Coach, in saying that, how would you kind of describe your coaching style?
I'm passionate.
That just means she yells a lot. Just so we're all clear, anytime a coach says I'm passionate, it means I yell a lot.
That's right. That's right. Well, I think, we expect our players to compete every possession, so I coach every possession. So, you get a lot of those questions when you're recruiting, players. So whether it's them or their parents, and they ask, and I'm like, well, I'll just give you an example. Like if I'm on the sideline and you come down and hit a three, I'm going to be the first one cheering you on. You come down and you don't take a charge, you're going to hear about that. You come back down and you make a mistake or you do something well. Like I'm going to coach every possession because I expect you to compete every possession.
Is it harder now? I mean, I've been involved in basketball and women's basketball in particular for 20 years at this point on the club side, and I've seen the evolution of the player. And not just the talents and the physical abilities on the court, but we're talking about the player off the court and how you have to recruit and now how you have to nurture a little different. Do you find that change happening in your recruiting process as well when you're talking to these young women and maybe the first question is money now or, guaranteeing playing time or whatever? So how much has that changed for you when you're trying to recruit now?
Yeah, it is different. The days of sitting there and offering somebody a scholarship.
And then being super excited?
Yeah, I'm like, oh my gosh. After that point, they're like, okay, of course, what else?
Yeah.
So I think embracing, just that part of where we are, and we understand that is a part. These young women are trying to capitalize on, on the environment. So, we kind of, when we have the conversations, it's like, I want to talk about everything else first. And then if it's a good fit, then we'll talk about money. So I try to not talk about the financial piece in the first couple conversations because I want to make sure that this is a good fit for both of us first. And so, that's where we're talking about how the culture of our program. I have learned that not everyone necessarily values it being a sisterhood, Some people are kind of just like, hey, we're just here to play the game, and we kind of clock in and clock out. And, we just know that the most connected teams are the ones that win when it counts. And so, it's important for us to identify those young women who do value that, and it does mean something to them. Obviously, all the basketball components as far as what they do on the floor.
If it wasn't there.
Exactly. But talking about the fit in terms of like how we play, and after we kind of get through those pieces, then we sit down and we talk about finances.
Which is weird.
Fit, roster building, finances. I'm so glad that y'all are talking about it. We got to take a quick break. We will continue this conversation from recruiting, roster building, the culture Coach Haden wants to create. We'll discuss all of that when we come back.